So you've been training for a while now and you've been putting hours into the gym and you feel like you've been training hard and you work hard and you spend a lot of time there, but you're never really making the progress that you feel like you should. So next week you go into the gym and you're like, right, my split isn't working. I need to change the split. And then next week you read something else on the internet and you think, maybe I should try that. So you go in again and you try something else. So many guys get caught up on this. They think that their split is the be all and end all. And that is the thing that's going to be the difference in between them getting jacked or not. But the spoiler alert is your split literally doesn't matter. You can get jacked doing any single training split in the world. Especially in today's day and age, people love to make shit complicated. There's so much information available on the internet that people want to make stuff hard. People want to make life hard for themselves for some reason. Training to build muscle doesn't have to be complicated at all. All that we know for sure is that training hard is the most important thing. And that is something that you have to be doing if you want to make progress in the gym. But seriously, if you're not looking after your diet, you're not eating legit food, you're not sleeping properly, you're training 4 sets of 12 with approximately 6 reps in reserve, do you really think that the order in which you do your exercise actually matters? But what I'm saying here probably does seem contradictory in that I'm presenting you a video about how to structure your training and what the best split is for muscle growth. If you find yourself struggling to make progress in the gym, it's very unlikely that it's your split that's the problem. You need to be looking at what else am I doing towards this goal that is actually going to make the difference, like your food, like your intensity or accuracy of training, like looking after your recovery like a grown-up. Either way, in this video, I'm going to run you through how exactly I structure my own training and how I structure training for a lot of clients who have similar goals to me. The split that I've used over the last 2 to 3 years of training and have made by far the best progress in my whole 9 years of training is an upper body, lower body split. Now this is because number one, it's a high frequency split. It allows you to train each muscle at least 2 times per week, which in line with the research is what we know as most productive. And then it allows you to get enough productive volume in but still be recoverable. Number two is that it's super flexible. It doesn't rely on specific days. You can kind of just get it done whenever it suits you. As a PT, I have a bit of a random schedule. It's kind of just based on my clients' needs, and my shifts also are subject to change. They are not set in stone. So if I have a flexible program, it allows me to get the work done that I need to do that is productive for me. And number three, and probably most importantly, is just that it's enjoyable. I love doing it, and it means that I get to train everything every 3 days. So it's 8:50 in the morning. I'm just about to head off to the gym. I'm going to take you with me and run you through the session as I do it. It's my first upper session of the week. Let's get it. And just on that last point there about doing something that you enjoy and doing a split that you like, some people don't like this. Some people literally don't even like training legs. So this split wouldn't really work for them. If they want to go and do a bro split, they just want to do chest and back and arms and skip legs every week, then go and do that. It has to be enjoyable for you. For it to be sustainable and for you to want to train hard and actually see progress from it, you have to like doing it. And as I said, it doesn't really matter. The only thing that we need to be doing is making sure that we're training hard. Like, you can train really hard on a push-pulled leg split. You can train really hard on a bro split. You can train really hard doing full body every other day. Frequency is important, and it's something that if you're natural and you're in your first 5 to 10 years of training, you want to be leveraging, really. I mean, everyone kind of wants to. It just makes logical sense that the more often that you can stimulate a muscle and allow it to regrow, the more it's gonna grow. Let's say you're doing a bro split and you hit chest on Monday and then you don't hit chest again until the following Monday. Well, that's a whole load of time in between there that the chest could have been being trained. It's ready to train. Muscle protein synthesis is active for around 36 to 72 hours post-workout. So after 72 hours, why are you not training the muscle again? Again, if you don't enjoy doing that, then fair enough. If you love going in the gym and smashing chest off, being really sore for the next 5 days, then fair enough, that's on you. But what is also enjoyable, I think, is making progress. And it's very likely that you're gonna make more progress on a higher frequency split than you are just training a muscle once a week. Come on, mate, what are you doing? Fucking get over, plumber. Yeah, but ultimately, you don't really need me to tell you what to do. You need to work it out for yourself. That is kind of the beauty of strength training or muscle building training, is that lots of different stuff works, and lots of different stuff works for different people. Some people can get away with doing hardly any volume at all. Some people don't want to spend a lot of time in the gym. Some people love being in the gym, like myself, and some people respond to really high volumes. So It's all a game of trial and error and working out what is best for you. So I just pulled up to the gym. You can see it in the background there. I always park really far away just to get the extra steps in when I'm on the way in. Every little counts. That's the oldest trick in the book if you're trying to increase your step count. I haven't done any filming content in here where I'm talking to the camera yet, just because sometimes the tunes are really loud and they're bumping and probably can't really hear anything. But also, Ultraflex North Leeds is a great gym and they've got some of the best kit in the world, but sometimes the vibe's just a little intense. So yeah, we'll see how we get on. It's a gorgeous day for it as well. Okay, so as I expected, the gym was super noisy. Couldn't really hear anything on the recording. There was just bumping like bassline tunes, as they should be, because it's a gym for going to the gym. It's not a gym for recording content. So I'm just gonna have to voice over it from the comfort of my own home. I still managed to record a set for at least one of every exercise that I did. So I'll put them videos on the screen somewhere around here, give you my rationale for them, tell you why I'm selecting them and why I'm structuring the session in the way that I am. So starting with warm-up, something that I see a lot in the gym is that people are spending loads of time warming up. They're doing a bunch of stretches, they're doing a bunch of mobility work, and that's fine, but I don't know if everyone really needs to be doing it. If you have like a past injury or you're dealing with injury at the moment or you have some mobility issues, then you want to be doing a warm-up that is specific to that, but you don't want to be wasting loads and loads of time doing it. I've been dealing with a bit of shoulder impingement, so my warm-up is just very specific to that. All I do is get on the cables, do a few external rotations, do a few with the dumbbell like this, just so when I go into my first main exercise, I'm feeling very safe and I'm feeling very stable for it. And with your warm-up work as well, if you are dealing with injury or mobility issues, you need to make sure that you're making yourself stronger at it. I'm going into these rotator cuff exercises, even though they're just little shitty rotations like that, I'm treating them exactly the same as I do for the rest of my work. I'm applying progressive overload to them and I'm trying to get stronger at it, because if you don't teach the tissues, if you don't teach your tendons, ligaments and muscles to get stronger, then there's no point in doing these kind of warm-ups or mobility drills. Just stretching a muscle is not gonna make it adapt and make it wanna get stronger. You have to be making it stronger and forcing it to want to adapt. And then moving on to my first working exercise, I always start with a lateral raise variation. Now, I'm of the belief that you probably wanna pick your areas of focus and do them first. When you're freshest, when you've got the most concentration, when you've got the least fatigue buildup from the rest of the session. Now, my delts aren't actually an area of focus for me, but the reason that I put them first is, again, as though they are almost a warm-up exercise, because when I do a lateral raise, it gets the shoulder cooking, it makes me feel more safe and more stable when I go into heavier work later on in the session. For instance, I go straight into a press, my shoulders just feel a little bit cranky, they don't feel too good, but doing that lateral raise first gets a bunch of blood into them, makes them feel warmer, makes it feel a lot more safe and a lot more comfortable when I go into a press. And I also just think doing a lateral raise first is not gonna have too much impact in terms of strength or performance on the exercises that follow it. And your delts can never be wide enough. I'll normally do at least 3 sets here, but sometimes I'll even move that up to 4 or 5, especially if I'm not doing a vertical press in the session. I find that delts are a muscle that can take a beating and can recover from a lot of work. So do you need to be doing up to 5 sets of it? Yeah, maybe not, especially if you're executing it properly with good intensity and good accuracy. Probably not, but I'm of the opinion that we want to be doing as much volume as we can recover from. So if I can get away with doing 5 sets of delts, then I'm going to do it. This session today, I did it single arm on a cable. I do just prefer a cable. It feels better for me. I do like a dumbbell lateral raise. Could do it on a machine, doesn't really matter, as long as you're raising your elbow up like that. But today I did a single arm variation and I did 4 sets. So after laterals, I then often move on to a back exercise. Now, when you're thinking about your back training, there's 3 main functions or 3 main joint actions that we want to be focusing on in a session, or at least over the course of a week. So that would be 1 with shoulder extension, when we're pulling the elbow close to us with it tucked to the body. There's 1 with shoulder adduction, where we're pulling the elbow down towards us in a side plane. And the last one would be scapular protraction and retraction, so allowing your shoulder base to drop forward and pin back together. Now, I'm a big fan of doing a single arm lat row or pull down first. Lats are an area of focus for me at the moment. And again, you can never really have big enough lats. But when I do a single arm pull down or a single arm row first, it really just lights up the lat. And then I also find, again, that it's giving me extra stability, extra safety when I go into a press movement after that. Again, there's a load of different equipment you could use for this. You could use a machine, you could use cables, you could use dumbbells. At Ultraflex, we're blessed with having these cool machines that you can go and use. But wheeling a bench over to a cable stack is just as good. And what I like to do, because I split my upper sessions into an A and B rotation, I'll alternate between doing a single arm pull down or a single arm row. On an upper body day, I like to zigzag between push and pull exercises. Again, there's no right or wrong way to do it. You can do whatever feels best for you, and you want to be doing whatever gives you the best chance at performance. But I find that if I zigzag between push and pull, then my push muscles get the chance to rest when I'm doing my pull, and vice versa. So after the lateral raise and after the single arm lat movement, I then move on to my main chest press. You don't need to be too picky with the chest movement here. You just need to pick something that you feel safe at, something that you connect with well, something that you feel well, and something that you feel that you can get strong at over time. Doesn't matter if that's dumbbells, Smith machine, machine press, or whatever. It literally doesn't matter. Just pick one that you like and get really fucking strong at it. Could be wise and help you build better of an aesthetic if in at least one of your A and B sessions, you're doing one of your presses on an incline where the path of force is going up and crushing the shoulder joint. I've been running this granite chest press machine with a neutral grip. It feels great. It feels super comfortable on my shoulder, and you get a mad chest pump off it. And I have just been running 2 sets on my press recently. I find that with my chest, I can't get away with doing as much volume, so 2 sets is enough. I think that overdoing it with my chest work is what actually knackered my shoulder out a bit. So I'm always careful and just try and focus on making them 2 sets that I've got as high quality as possible. After that, I would zigzag onto my next pull movement, which would be my upper back row. The upper back, as I said before, we're focusing on a deep drop of the shoulder, allowing the shoulder blades to round and roll forward, and then pinning them back together in the row. On your lat stuff, we're always thinking about keeping the elbow pinned to the side and almost dragging the bicep along the rib cage. But on an upper back row, because we're trying to favor the traps, we actually want our elbow path to diverge away from the torso. And then this also covers all my rear delt work. I don't do any specific like rear delt flies or anything like that. I just get all of my rear delt volume from my rowing. And remember, that is specific to me. I don't feel like I need it. I feel like I get enough rear delts from my pulls. You may wanna improve your rear delts, and it can definitely be worth adding a bit of extra volume in there. 2 sets again on there, and for a lot of my exercises, I only actually do 2 sets. If you're training hard and getting legitimately close to failure, you don't actually need a lot of work. Some muscles can take a bit more, like I said earlier with the lateral delts, for instance. But that doesn't mean they need it. You could just do 1 or 2 and be done. You've got to weigh up the risk to reward of the time cost and the energy cost and what volume you need specifically to you. After that, I'll move on to triceps, and I'll typically do 3 to 5 sets here. Triceps is real simple. You just need to pick an exercise where you are extending the elbow. It's probably wise over the course of the week, if you are doing an A and B rotation, to do one where you have your shoulder in a more neutral position, and then to be doing one where your shoulder is flexed so that we're biasing a bit more of the long head. Today, I literally just did 4 sets of a push down using an easy bar grip. So next session in my B rotation, I'll make sure to do something where my shoulder is flexed up here. I've been liking dumbbell skull crushers at the moment, but again, anything where the elbow's up here. Then move on to our final pull exercise, which will be our shoulder reduction movement. You don't have loads of options for this, but I generally go with a wide grip pull down or a pull up. What you really want to make sure when you're doing this is that you're staying in the frontal plane, which is basically like the way that I cue it to my clients is to imagine you're in like a 2D plane of motion like this. We want to keep thinking about tucking the elbow down towards the hip. You'll see a lot of people butcher their pull downs, and when they get to the bottom, they like push the weight down in front of them because they feel like they need to finish the rep or get it to their chest. But then what they're actually doing is taking tension away from the lat and putting it into other muscles in the arm or even in the chest. Again, just 2 sets on here, and that's 6 sets total for back during one of these upper sessions. That's 2 where we're doing shoulder extension, doing our single arm lat movement, 2 of shoulder reduction, doing our pull down or pull up, and 2 where we're doing our upper back row, which is scapular protraction and retraction. And then final exercise of the session would be some kind of chest fly. Again, there's loads of equipment you can use here. You can use dumbbells, you can use cables. I generally just go with a pec deck just because it's easiest. There's no fast setting it up. You can just set it on it and go. We want to make sure that when we're doing this, that the elbow is coming across the body. Again, you'll see so many people butcher this where they load it up too heavy and they round their shoulders forward and they're trying to make their hands meet in the middle. Getting your hands together because it makes you feel like you finish in the rep is not the point here. What we're trying to do is adduct the arm across the body. So when we're doing that, we're thinking about almost making our elbow creases meet in the middle. You want to be thinking about jamming your bicep into your pec as you get it across the body. So that's literally it. That's how I structure my own upper body training and how I structure it for a lot of my clients as well. And you may be thinking, well, you didn't do any bicep work in there. Well, if you look at that upper body day, there's quite a lot of work to be getting in one session. And then if we look at a lower body day, which I'll save for another video, there's not relatively as much work in there. So what I like to do and what I think is a really smart way to go about it is to put your bicep training at the start of your lower body day. Now that doesn't have to be biceps, that could be any of these muscle groups. Again, it doesn't really matter the order that you're doing this in, as long as you're getting it all in over the course of a week. But I would find that biceps probably have the least fatigue carryover of any of them other major muscle groups that we've covered. And again, same as the delts, you doing a few sets of curls at the start of your lower body day is very unlikely to have too much impact on the rest of the work after it. So if you're struggling to make progress in the gym, remember it's very unlikely that it's the split that you're following that is actually the issue. It doesn't matter how we order or how we organize our training. The thing that I see that is generally the problem for most people is they are not executing their training well enough. They're not training with enough intensity and they're not training with enough accuracy. And to add on top of that, a lot of people are eating like shit and they're recovering like shit as well. As I said, I am of the belief that most people need a higher frequency approach and they need to be doing as much as they can recover from, which is why I'm such a big fan of the upper lower split. It basically works for anyone. It's super flexible. It's super enjoyable. There's nothing really that can go wrong with it. If you're still feeling confused about any of this and you do want some help with structuring and organizing your training or making sure that you are executing your training properly, I run a 7-day free coaching trial. In that trial, you get the exact same service that I give to my paid clients. We work you out a training program based on your needs, your equipment availability, your lifestyle and schedule. We'll also do a deep dive into your diet so we can see what you're eating and look at where we may need to improve so that you can get the results that you want to see. Like I said, it's literally free. There's no cost. There's no commitment to it. If you want to apply, I'll drop the link in the description below. Or if you have any further questions on it or anything that I've gone through in this video, you can DM me on Instagram at lennyd.pt and I'll be happy to help you with any questions to help you get absolutely jacked on an upper lower split this summer.